500 years ago, it took a year and a half to travel to the opposite side of the world. You would be on a ship that looked like this, with a group of random people that you've never seen before, and a bunch of the group you started with would die along the way. It now takes 14 hours to get to the opposite side of the world in a flying chair in the sky, and people will still complain about the Wi-Fi. In the time that it would take to circumnavigate the globe in the 1600s, you can now send a robot to Saturn, and equip it with a camera that can send pictures through space to the 1.32 billion registered Facebook users on this planet. Facebook now has 300 million more registered users than there were people on Earth 200 years ago, and many of whom will be accessing Facebook via one of the 1.75 billion smartphones in circulation throughout the world right now. This is an absolutely ridiculous number, considering that a smartphone today has millions of times more computing power than the computers NASA used to land astronauts on the moon in 1969. So yes, that handheld device that you used to fling birds across a screen would have been a luxury for the space program in the 60s and 70s. And your phone can also do many other things that people in the past generations wouldn't believe, like having a music library in your phone. That used to be a special place in your house that took up an entire room. It was called a record collection, and people used to have to go to a record shop to buy each album. I know, crazy, right? But what's also crazy about your phone is the camera. When the camera was first popularized in 1850, it would cost a person the equivalent of $250 today just to take one photo. Technology has been getting ridiculously advanced recently, and none of which is more important than Google. In one day, about 4 billion Google searches are made alone, or about 46,000 per second. Could you imagine if we all didn't have Google in our lives to answer some of our most burning questions? You used to have to, get a book from the library or buy a book to answer these questions, which in the 1800s would cost you the equivalent of $100 for a cheap book. But now you can get books for free and download them electronically onto your tablet without ever having to move. It is kind of amazing how fast and how accessible information has become. And this wasn't really supposed to happen. In the 1960s, it was predicted that we would have an upcoming technological revolution, where in the next 40 years, everyone would have jetpacks, flying cars, and robot housekeepers. And they had full reason to believe this, because this was around the time when we started launching satellites into orbit and having people walk on the moon. Everyone expected a technological revolution, but what we got instead was an information revolution. Instead of jetpacks, we got wireless communication devices. Instead of flying cars, we got the internet. Instead of robot housekeepers, we got robot housekeepers, kind of. In our current informational revolution, the average person receives 210 newspapers worth of information in an entire day. That's about 6 times as much information than your parents' generation would receive, and 10 times as much as your grandparents would receive. There is so much information out there that it is predicted that there is now over 400 exabytes of data floating around the world at any moment in time, 5% of which comes from Google. So has technology made our generation spoiled? Well, the answer is probably yes, but who knows where technology will be in 10, 50, 100 years from now. One thing is for sure though, is that technology has made our lives much easier, and given many of us luxuries that our ancestors couldn't even dream of. So make the most of your life, everyone, and live every second like it's your last. Thanks for watching. Hey everyone, let me know in the comments below what your favorite modern technology is. Also, keep an eye out for an upcoming Science of Superheroes video that I'm working on, which was requested by you guys. And remember to hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos.